Live and direct. Let me see if I can invite some people in. Oh, we late. We both have been started, man. What?
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay.
You started.
Let me know when you're ready, y'all.
We live.
We live.
Yeah.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to another show, another edition of Don't Say Nothing Stupid. DSNSP, you guys. That's what it means.
Yes, sir.
That's right. It's a positive pipeline that we do here in our community, man. And we shine a lot of spotlight on some of the people that made a big difference in our community. And here today, we got the pleasure to have none other than the legend himself. Now this ain't no clone right here now. Yeah, this the real deal. We got the legend in the building, none other than that's right, Coach Patrick. Okay.
Coach P.
I like that. Okay, but along with me, we have amateur Chef Streeter in
Yes,
the
sir.
building.
Yes, sir. I'm
Big
here.
shout- Yeah.
And
What I hear now there. We get a hit there.
This a very special one to me.
This is very special, man.
Because I got my guy. This is my guy right here. You know, this is my guy, Coach Patrick. I start off by just giving him some flowers. You know, they say giving here.
Give some flowers.
A lot of people don't know, you know, just because you play sports or whatnot doesn't mean that if you didn't play sports, Coach Patrick didn't, you know, have an impact on your life. I'm gonna speak on my adult years. I'm not gonna go too far into details, but it was a time where I was going through something, and he probably didn't even know, but he would call and talk to me. He would join my lives and listen to me. Mm-hmm. And people don't understand that sometimes that listening ear,
right,
and somebody to say, you know, keep doing what you're doing, or it's gonna be okay. It'll take you a long way. So I appreciate. I know I was whining like, hey, oh man, I'm bad. I forgot we can't. Some stupid. I know I was whining, Coach, but I appreciate you being just, you know, that listening ear and continuing to motivate me and let me know that, you know, I had something in store and just to keep pushing. So I appreciate that.
And I also want to say too, Coach, man, you make an impact on so many people's lives, man. And it's so ironic that when you, a person like you, that have put deposit so much in so many people's lives, because in order for you to make a difference, you have to make a deposit, and that's so true when you're dealing with a situation like, you know, dealing with what you're doing the coaching and all that, and making a difference in a lot of people's lives. And I just want to thank you as well as Willie did too, because we from two different areas, which is BTW and Tuskegee Institute High School, but right. You have made impact in my life, all of my friends' lives, and we want to thank you for that, because you have put a deposit into each and every last one of our lives some kind of way. You know, you don't even really know how much you have helped us. You know what I mean? But thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Well, you know, y'all gonna mess around and get me all emotional in here with all these accolades. And, you know, all I tried to do is, I guess growing up in Tuskegee, I had a lot of people that basically made a lot of deposits in my life. And when I got to a point and I had an opportunity to basically give back, that's what I wanted to do. Wow. And
great.
Tuskegee is a very special place for me, and I just wanted to just give it everything I had, you know, and stuff. I didn't want to leave nothing on the table. I wanted to make sure that the young people that I dealt with, whether it was young men or young women, I just wanted to make sure that I gave them my very best, you know. So as they matriculated through life, they would basically say, a lot of times I used to run into a lot of young people and they would say, nobody ever told me.
Right.
And I wanted to make sure that I told them, you know. I told them
let me
about
push
the
the
rules
mic up
and
a little bit, Coach, make sure, because they need to get these gems.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
told
want
them-
nobody to miss this.
I told them about the rules and regulations, and I also told them about the consequences of life, you know.
Right.
So I just really wanted to make a difference. Like I said, I had so many people that had basically done so many things for me along life's journey that I just wanted to basically be the one as I grew up, you know. As I was telling Willie the other night, I had a young man that did a lot of things in my life, and when I graduated from Tuskegee University, where it was institute then in 1979, I went to him and I told him thank you. And he told me, he said, I know you mean it and everything. He said, but now I need you to go help somebody else.
Wow.
You know, and as I walked away from him that day, he told me, he said, each one, teach one. And so that's basically what I tried to do.
Wow.
Well, Coach, let's dig a little deep into your life here, sir. Growing up in the Patrick household, just kind of explain to the audience how was that, you know, brothers, sisters, how your parents, how your neighborhood, what neighborhood you grew up, you know, and so on. Let's just starting out as a kid.
I'm the very proud son of Willie Mae Patrick, who is now deceased, and my father is Ollie Patrick Jr., who's also deceased. Out of that union were born 7 sisters and brothers. Right now, I've lost 3 sisters over the last 5 years. So right now, it's just 4 of those 7 that's still living. In the Patrick household, there was a lot of discipline, a lot of love, a lot of discipline. You know, my mom and dad, I mean, they didn't play. They didn't play, you know. I mean, we very religious family, been in church all my life, growing up, had to be at Sunday school on Sunday. Had to be at 11 o'clock service, and most of the time back there then we had a 3 o'clock service, and then we also went to something that they basically have taken out of the church. We went to BTU.
BTU.
What is that?
BTU is Baptist Training Union.
Oh.
The acronyms are BTU, and it's Baptist Training Union. And I still remember the motto that we had at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church on Brown Street.
Okay.
And our mission was, you learn by doing. And basically, we learned by doing it. So that was something that we had to do. We had to, you know, I mean, and if we wasn't in church, you know, Big Mama, you know, which is my great.
They don't have Big Mamas no more, I don't think.
But I was fortunate. Both of my great grandmother lived. She was 90. I think she was about 94. My grandmother lived. She was about 94. And my daddy's mother lived. She was 106 years old. You know, so we've always been around. You know, ain't nothing like old people wisdom.
Right.
It's nothing like that and stuff. So growing up in the Patrick household, it was best. Like I said, it was a lot of love. A lot of love, you know. We had chores to do, you know. I learned how. I wish I could say I was like chef, amateur chef over here. But you know, and that's one of the regrets that I've had now that I've gotten older. I never learned how to cook. You know, but basically,
it ain't too late though, Coach.
Too late.
Because I just learned here last year, so it ain't too late.
You can keep learning. But basically. Had chores, had to wash dishes, you know, and there were consequences if you didn't, you know. Learn how to iron at an early age, and you know, and just a lot of chores, but a lot of love and a lot of discipline and stuff in the Patrick household. Oh, I think you asked me about growing up. Basically, I grew up on Lake Street. Lake Street, which is right there by Burton Funeral Home. That's the street that Burton Funeral Home is on.
Right.
That basically grew up there. Later on, we moved to McNeil Street, which is located in the Brown Street project. I don't know if it's McNeil Street now, but that's what it was then. 249 McNeil Street. And matter of fact, when I think out between Lake Street and Brown Street is when I learned how to, I really had decided I wanted to be a wide receiver.
Okay.
And I learned how to run routes between the clotheslines over there on
Run routes between the clothes.
yeah. You had to duck the clothesline. So I learned how to do that. So growing up in the Patrick household and in Tuskegee. Now, one of the things we basically did back in the day, as I was telling Willie the other night, we played baseball.
Oh yeah.
We played baseball during baseball season. We actually used to keep up with how many home runs and see who was going. Some people cheated and like they had more home runs than they did. Right. So during baseball season, we played baseball.
Right.
Basketball season, we played basketball. And even we would have track meets over there on Lake Street. We would start all the way up there. If you're familiar with Lake Street, come on up by in the back of where the chicken coop was up there, and you run. And we would have a 440 relay team. And basically, you have 4 people, and you spread them out. And those were some of the things that led to us being athletes, because we were very competitive and stuff. Very competitive.
Okay, so you say Lakeview and the Brown Street Project.
Yeah.
Lake Street.
Lake Street. Mm-hmm. So now, I just so happen to have a mother, Dwayne Streeter. Hey, Mom. That all she talked about was ask about the lake snakes or the snake lakes or lake snake. What is the lake snakes, man? Just tell me a little history of the lake snakes.
Well, we had some older young men in the neighborhood, and I guess we got the name Lake Snake because I don't think Lake Street had anything to do with it. I think basically because we lived near the city lake. Okay. I think that basically had a lot to do with it. We had a lot of young men that I guess they were promising athletes as they was coming up, and by the time I got up to age, I think they were athletes, and so they was like something like our role model. Mm-hmm. We had Sam Stakely. Sam was the starting offensive guard at Tuskegee High School. We had Skerlock Harlem. Skerlock was the starting offensive tackle at Tuskegee High School. We had Chef David Warren. David was
He was a late snake.
Yeah,
David.
and he played quarterback for Tuskegee High School. But the main lake snake back there going on then was Bobby Line. We call him Pee Wee. Pee Wee went by 6'4".
Was he the founder?
I'm not going to say he was the founder, but he was the enforcer. Okay. And basically what they was, they felt like one day as they grew older that we would end up being the athletes of the future.
Okay. And
so they made sure that, I guess what they call it now, the young people made sure we had some dog in us. And so they poured that into us and made sure when we went to high school that we could basically represent, represent them.
Okay. Schools, I know, and I don't know if history-wise, but I attended Tuskegee Public. Booty, you Lewis Allen Washington Public?
I went to Lewis Allen first, Washington Public, Tuskegee Public, and Tuskegee High School, all of them.
What elementary school, high schools did you attend? Just take me down memory lane.
Right.
Elementary, high school, college.
Elementary.
Okay.
Washington Public Wildcats. Went to Washington Public.
Tuskegee Public Indian. I'm a Tuskegee Public Indian, baby.
That's what it was. We were the Wildcats at Washington Public. And I still can't remember. I can't remember Mr. Pender's first name, but it was Mr. Pender, and basically I can still feel that strap in my hand now and stuff, you know. Growing up at Washington Public, I think that was the first time I got involved with athletics.
Okay.
Was at Washington Public. We had a basketball team. We played on the dirt out there during lunchtime, and also if we had a basketball game, we would play out there. Later on, in the 7th grade, we went to Lewis Adams.
Okay.
They was doing some remodeling over Washington Public.
Okay.
And so we went to Lewis Adams during our 7th grade year. At that time, we went to high school in the 8th grade.
8th grade.
Okay.
In the 8th grade. So I went to Tuskegee High School. My sister was a senior my 8th grade year at Tuskegee High School. When I left Tuskegee High School, things got kind of cloudy after that and stuff, you know, and we went through some adjustments in life. I ended up at Selma University, which is a Black Baptist college in Selma, Alabama. Changed my whole life.
Wow.
Changed my whole life.
Wow.
Got a chance to go down there, and I guess I really found myself when I went down there. Had some young men came in one day, 3 football players from Jackson State. That came down there. They was trying to get their academics straight at Selma University. And so I befriended them. And we used to go out in the evening time and we would catch footballs and do different things. So when they left Selma University, they was going to Alabama State.
Wow.
So they told the coaches down at Alabama State, said, we got this wide receiver down here at Selma University. Y'all need to try to get him, you know. So I ended up going to Alabama State. A lot of people don't know that, but I ended up going to Alabama State. I was at Alabama State all of 5 days. You know, and what happened for those of you that are familiar with Alabama State, probably would have stayed at Alabama State, but when I left junior college, I was supposed to be a junior at Alabama State.
Okay.
At that time, Alabama State was on the quarter system.
Okay.
So I needed 48 hours to transfer to go to Alabama State, and those 48 hours was supposed to equal to 72 hours.
Right.
And so the AD kept telling me, he said, we're going to work this out. My nickname at Alabama State was Tuskegee.
Tuskegee.
You know, and what they told me, they said, Tuskegee, you go help us beat Tuskegee.
Okay.
I was at Alabama State for 5 days. I never dropped a pass, and they was fascinated by that.
Wow.
You know, but they did cut all my hair off before I had the chance in them 5 days. Well, that was part of the initiation. Part of the initiation. So that I had this big, pretty afro. When I left Tuskegee 5 days later, my head was bald, you know.
Wow.
You know. So what happened one day, I kept telling the AD, I said, we need to get this straight, because no way did I want to start school over as a freshman.
Right.
He said, we're going to get it straight. We're going to get it straight. So I kept telling them, and they didn't get it straight. So one day while they was at practice, I told them I wasn't feeling well.
Right.
And so I went to the infirmary. I had already packed.
Right.
I had already packed, and went to the infirmary and called me a taxi.
Wow.
And when I went to the dormitory, and I knew the football player was coming in, had an elevator in Benson Hall back then. And I knew the football player, I said, they're going to take the elevator when they come up, so I can't go down on the elevator. So I took my foot locker and went down the steps.
Okay.
The stairs, and called me a taxi and came to Tuskegee. And the next time Alabama State saw me was at the Turkey Day Classic.
Oh, man.
You know,
oh,
Did you win?
Well, it wasn't that I won. I was trying to survive because I was considered a traitor.
Well,
I was considered a traitor because I had been one of them, and now I was one of, you know.
I got you.
And so I walked in, I can't remember, it was a Sunday day, Sunday evening. I walked in Coach Haywood's system house, and I told him I wanted to come to Tuskegee. My daughter had just been born, and I didn't want to be far away from her.
Right.
That was, you know, my only child, and I just wanted to be near her and watch her grow up. And so I told him I wanted to come to Tuskegee. He told him to let me check some people and everything. And some of them told him, said, if you can get Bernie Patrick, you need to get it, you know. So the rest of it, so I went to Tuskegee Institute at that time, which is now Tuskegee University.
Right.
I was an all SIAC receiver, all academic, made the all academic team. After my stay at Tuskegee, I had tried, the first try I had was with the New England Patriots.
Okay.
Things didn't work out. Then I had a try with the Dallas Cowboys. And then my last try I was with the New Orleans Saints when Archie Manning was the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. And I told Coach when I left New Orleans, I told him I was going to get me a real job because I had a family and I had to take care of them and stuff. And so that was my last stint. So I got me a job. And basically that's was, you know, the schooling basically. At one time I did go to Alabama State to pursue an administrative degree when I was at Booker T. Washington.
So, just hearing you say you went to those different trials, mentally wise, did it ever discourage you? You know, saying that it didn't work out, or I mean, I'm not knowing why, but just knowing you're not on it, did it ever kind of take any drive out of it, or did it push you, make you want to go harder, or how did it affect you?
Well, I was going as hard as I possibly could. Everything I've always done, I've always put 110% in it. Right. So I was, you know, went hard with it. But it was just, you know, sometimes you had to be in the right place at the right time and stuff. And what I've always done is basically before I would try with a team, I would look at their roster and basically see how many veteran ball players, how many rookies that they draft at that position, how many free agents, and you can kind of gauge and stuff, you know, if the odds against you, and you know,
Right.
So I know I know how I view you. And talking to Booty Rush, I know how he views you. How do you think, just growing up, were you viewed by your peers? I know you hear, I heard you make a comment, you said one of the coaches said, hey, if you can get Bernie Patrick, you need to get him.
Right.
So just overall, how do you feel like, you know, I'll be wanting to hear like, yeah, I was a dog. Or you know, I hear the stories y'all taking over Albert Park, or, you know, all that. I think when I was in school one day, Coach, you told me, you would have came to Albert Park, we would have kept your basketball. You wouldn't even got your basketball back. So, how do you feel?
Well, we might have brought it back to your house later on, though. You might have had to come get it the next time you came down. But yeah, we'd have kept your ball, you know, and you wouldn't play. You wouldn't even been able to get it down. You know, Albert Park back there then was like the Rutgers up in New York City.
And that's crazy. I never knew that.
Up in New York City. I mean, if you could play at Albert Park, I mean, it was just a rough place to play and stuff, you know, and we had a lot of homeboys. We would get out there and we would play. And the good thing about it, it was real rough. It was physical.
Right.
But nobody ever fought.
Right.
Nobody ever fought. We just had a good time and stuff, you know. I'm not going to tell you, no blood wasn't shed.
Right.
We had some blood that was shed and different stuff, you know.
But nobody wasn't going to get no chopper and try to.
No. It was, you know, because we knew if you didn't want to stand the pain, then don't
go down there.
Don't come in the game, you know, because it was part of it, you know.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But there was two parts of that question. I can't remember.
Yeah, I was just how you felt like the people your peers viewed you, like, you know, in school, people around you, how they viewed you. What did they, if they had to write a book on you or something, what would they say about Coach Patrick?
To be determined. I've always been, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. I've always been a real quiet person, you know. Don't talk a lot, you know. I've always been well respected, you know. Probably people that respect me that wouldn't admit that they respect me, you know. But I always been well respected and stuff, you know. And all I was concerned about, you know, I wasn't concerned about basically how they viewed me. All I've ever wanted to be since I was probably in the 6th grade at Washington Public, when we went out for the basketball team, I didn't make the team.
Wow.
6th grade.
6th grade.
You know. And then the next year when we went to Lewis Adams, I was the only one from Washington Public that made the team.
Wow.
You know. And then in the 6th grade, in the 8th grade, when we got to Tuskegee High School, we were playing St. Joseph. Back there at that time, Lewis Adams had a team, St. Joseph had a team, Chandler's Children's House had a team. So we were playing against St. Joseph. Okay. And I hit 31 points.
Ooh.
And that's when I realized,
what grade?
I was in the 8th grade.
8th grade.
8th grade. And that's when I realized it wasn't so much as how my peers or anybody views me. All I ever wanted to be was an athlete, you know, and within the rules.
Right.
Within the rules, I'd never forget playing basketball for Coach Ernest Washington at Tuskegee High School.
Coach Washington.
And he told me, he said, "This is your man. I want you to go wherever he go and check him."
Right.
So the young man went out of bounds to take the ball out. Guess who was next to him when he was trying to? And the referee told me, "You don't supposed to be out here." The referee put me back on the court, but I told my coach. My coach told me to follow this man wherever he go and stuff, So I just wanted to be an athlete. And I was sitting there this morning, and I was thinking as we get to the end of Black History Month, and I was thinking about some of the experiences that we had at Tuskegee High School. And one thing about it, and I applaud Coach Washington for that. Okay. We played anybody, anywhere, at any time. We probably went to Birmingham at least 6 times a year. Wow. Because we wanted to play against the Parkers and the Parker High School and Ramsey High School and Auburn High School, and we wanted to play against them. I had the opportunity in 1968, the last year of the all-black area tournament. It was played at Alabama State in C.J. Dunn Arena. And I had the opportunity that year to play against Wendell Hudson. A lot of people don't know who Wendell Hudson is. Wendell Hudson was the first African-American basketball player that played at the University of Alabama. Had a chance to play against him. Wow. And it tickles me sometimes when I think about it, because some people don't believe I actually did this. Coach Washington basically put me on the varsity in the 10th grade.
Ooh. Okay.
I've always had decent size. Okay. But it looked like they were jumping so high that when I got up to the varsity, I told Coach, I said, I don't think I'm ready for this, And I actually went to him and told him, put me back on the B team. When I came back up the next year to the varsity in 11th grade, that's when I had a chance to play against Wendell Hudson, who was the first black African-American ball player at the University of Alabama. And I also had the opportunity to play against Henry Harris. Henry Harris from Boulder G, Alabama. He was the first African-American basketball player to play at Auburn University. So we basically had that kind of competition that we was basically up against, But I've always wanted to be an athlete, to go back to your initial question. I never really worried about how people basically, I was telling my wife, we were talking the other night, and I was telling her, and she said, "How you gonna answer that?" I said, "Well, I really don't know, because I wasn't voted the most athletic my senior year. Didn't worry about it because my cousin was the most athletic. His name was Moses Jones, And a lot of people don't know this, and with Streeter used to having a club and everything, I was voted the best dancer.
I can't see that. I could not see. Ain't no way.
I was voted the best dancer,
Okay.
What
kind of moves you used to hit, Coach?
Well, I could go down the soul train like But it was that's basically how it was then.
Okay. All right. I got a couple of questions for you, Coach. I'm gonna start off with, what is your one of your mottos? What's one of your mottos? And you always had one on the back of the T-shirt every year at Tuskegee Institute High School. You always had a motto. And what's one of your favorite mottos?
One that really, and I didn't realize at that time, Cornelius Driscoll.
Uh-oh. D-Rock.
D-Rock.
D-Rock. D-Rock.
D-Rock. Shout out to D-Rock, baby. Let's get D-Rock on the show. D-Rock.
Put this in the locker room at Tuskegee Institute High School after we had finished lifting weights one day. And he put on there whatever it takes.
Okay.
And I thought about it, and we made a shirt out of it.
Wow.
I was watching TV one day when Wimp Sanderson, who used to be the head coach at the University of Alabama, got into a situation and he was dismissed from his job. I was sitting there as he got up out of his chair, and he pushed the chair up on the table, and he said, "Tough times don't last always, but tough people do." And I got to thinking about it, and I think that was one of the best mottos that we came up with, because we can apply that to your everyday life however you want to and stuff, you know. We had all of them. We had, leave, follow, get out the way. I had a shirt on before I came here today, and it had on go hard or go home.
Right.
So we had a lot of different mottos and stuff, but I think the one tough times don't last always. Because as you matriculate through life and you go through things and you experience them, eventually the situation that you're dealing with will eventually go away.
Right.
But when you're a tough individual, you know what I'm saying, you can stay there and basically sustain and go through the situation and stuff. You still the tough individual, but eventually, because you was a tough individual, that the tough situation will eventually go away. So I think the one tough times don't last always, but tough people do. One of my ball players called me one day. He had finished basic training. And he was in AIT, and he told me, he said, "Coach," he said, "we got to do a 12-minute run. I don't think I can make it." And I told him, I said, "Well, tell me something you learned from playing with me and blah, blah, blah." And I can't tell you everything, I said, because, you
can't say nothing stupid.
It
ain't stupid, though, man.
I can't tell you that, but and he went on. I talked with one of my former football players who was a year behind Willie, David Biggers. And I think, and David, I think that was him. He's a lawyer.
Okay.
And basically, I know his favorite motto is that tough times don't last always, but always do. Because you can basically apply that to your everyday life, you know. So,
Right.
Also, let me give you another one, back to back. What is one of your pet peeves? And explain why.
I don't really have any pet peeves. Sometimes I say the same thing over and over.
Right. Okay.
I had one of my, matter of fact, he was one of my athletic trainers, Edward Watts at Tuskegee Institute High School. No, at Booker T. Washington High School.
He just left.
Huh?
He just left him up here.
I wish I had been here.
Yeah.
And I remember one day we was out there practicing, and I have a thing where I said his word, and he said, "Coach, you said it 7." He was counting.
Yeah.
He said, "You said it 17 times today and stuff, you know." But I didn't really have, all I wanted to do as a coach, I wanted. I was a hard coach. I asked myself sometime if I could have played for me, because I was very demanding, But then again, life is demanding.
That's right.
Absolutely. And so what I tried to do, I tried to prepare young men and stuff, So I didn't have a whole lot of pet peeves. Okay. I just basically made sure what I wanted to do was prepare young men for life.
Right.
Give them all the tools they need. My main goal was to develop good husbands, good fathers, good sons. I just wanted to make sure that the young men that I had the opportunity to touch, and most of them I'm still in contact with. Hadn't talked to Horace Brooks in a good little while, but I need to, because I received a video the other day of Harvey's son. He has a son that he's
athletic.
Yeah, he wears number 4, the same number his daddy wore at Alabama State.
That's right.
He's something special.
Okay. Now, Coach, if you was I know you're a tough guy, right? You're a tough guy, right, Coach? If you was an animal, what would you be, and explain why?
Probably a tiger.
Tiger. Okay.
Because I rule the jungle.
You what now?
You rule the jungle?
I rule the jungle.
Okay.
Yeah, probably a tiger.
Probably tiger. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you a Leo?
Scorpio. Number one zodiac sign.
Why not Leo?
Scorpio, number 1 zodiac sign.
Why not Leo?
You want me to say it again?
Let's move to a little bit in the high school times. And I just want to ask you, Coach, now, a lot of times that, on Fridays that, the football team get ready to play football and all that. But every Friday at school that every athlete or every football player have to come dressed up. You can't wear no baggy pants. You got to have your belt tucked, your shirt tucked in, wear a tie. You got to look presentable on Friday. What was your whole purpose of doing that, Coach?
To prepare them for life.
Prepare them for life.
Basically prepare them for life and stuff, and basically at the same time they was learning as they went through life how to dress for an interview, different things and stuff, and just basically what we tried to do back then when the weather changed.
Right.
When the weather changed, when we first started school, it was hot, so we would let them wear T-shirts and everything. And when the weather changed, they had to dress up. They had to put a coat and tie on. And I'll never forget one day, and I'm not going to call his name, my starting fullback, he said he was dressed up. I say he wasn't. But he didn't have no socks on. And where I'm from, that's part of the attack.
That's right.
And so he didn't have any socks on. Okay. So when we left that day, we left him.
Okay.
We left him, because the United States of America is governed by rules and regulations, and we have to be able to follow. And that was one of the rules. A lot of people might have wanted to know what did they have to do with football.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like later on when we went to Booker T. Washington, each football player during the course of the season had to lead us in the Lord's Prayer and grace.
Wow.
And that was basically preparing them as the head of the household one day when they get married, that they would be the one that would basically have to, basically you had to teach your children how to pray.
That's right.
That's right. You had to teach them how to pray and stuff,
Because to this day, man, I will not pray out loud.
Yeah.
I can pray.
I can pray.
Like, I go to God and talk my butt off, but just being able to pray out loud.
It's kind of hard too, because
it's hard,
you
man.
feel like I don't want to make a mistake and say something wrong that he ain't gonna, he ain't gonna accept my prayer.
But can you make? Is there a such thing when you're praying?
Right.
You're talking to God. This is your personal prayer.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it ain't no mistakes.
That's right.
Because I know, I just feel like for me though, it's just gonna be weird. Because like when we have like the Christmas dinner or something at the house, my mom would be like, "This your house, you gotta pray." But I tell my wife to pray, because if I get up there, I ain't gonna freeze, but I'm gonna be like, dog.
Yeah.
Like, God, this is how I talk.
Right.
Dog. God is hard right now, my nigga. What can you do for me, bro? So I always felt like it was a certain way
Right.
you were supposed to pray, even though I know it's not.
Right.
But I just always had in my mind, just listening to preachers and deacons and my dad could, boy, when he was alive, we had these family. He go pray, he go sing out there. I can't come behind that. So I just always just kind of shied away from, trying to be the next person that step up. And now my wife holds it down.
Only thing God is looking at is basically really what you say, not how you say it.
Right. Okay.
He's basically looking at that and stuff, And that was one of the reasons I knew the day would come when I would have to eventually lead the prayer at my house.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the day would come when I would have to pray in church.
Right.
And so what I would, that was my way when I was coaching. I was teaching the kids, but I was also learning myself how to, how to be the head of the household,
Right.
Okay. All right. We know, kind of like Coach, it's a lot of players, young men, that you have coached throughout the years that you've been coaching football. Now,
Excuse me.
how many?
Go ahead. I'm looking at the comments.
Hey, how many men, boys that you have think that you turned into men? Can you just give me an estimate number throughout the years that you have been coaching, from the time you start coaching to the time that you stop? You never not a coach. You're coaching even when you're not coaching the football. You're still a coach because they still come to you right now up to this day. So you're still a coach. Whether you got a team or not, you're still a coach. Once you're a coach, always a coach. From the time that you started, Coach, to now, how many lives of young men you think you have changed through your career?
I started doing this in the 70s.
Okay.
Last time I checked, it was 51 years that I've actually done this, Basically, I think probably in dealing with the young men and different things, probably 4,000 or 5,000. 4,000 or 5,000,
That's
a lot. That's a lot.
I get upset sometimes as I sit down, as I've gotten older. One day at Booker T. Washington, I had 2 football players showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Same day, same time. One of them was driving an $80,000 Escalade. The other one had just gotten out of prison.
Wow.
So as a coach, I had to ask myself, where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
I gave them all the same information.
Right.
But the information ain't nothing unless you know how to use it.
Right.
A teacher can sit there all day and teach and give you notes and this, that, and the other. And, if you sitting there like a lot of students in the back of the room and not writing nothing down, then the information she giving is not go, it's not gonna work for you.
Right.
So basically, what we tried to do, I had a parent to come up because it really helped me by being in Tuskegee. I told my football players the first year I got the job at Tuskegee High School, I told them, I said, I'm going to be your coach 8 days a week, 25 hours a day. They looked at me like, we know you old, but
you got some math problems.
He taught it wrong. He said it wrong.
Yeah, 8 days a week, 25 hours a day. I said, that's right.
Yeah.
I said, because I'm going to be in the neighborhoods. I'm going to be in the grocery store. You're going to see me everywhere. If you out there and you think about breaking a rule or breaking the law, I said, you're going to see me. You know what I'm saying? I said, the football just don't end here.
Right.
It just don't end when you leave here. I had a mother came up to me one day and she told me that her son didn't wash the dishes. Mm-hmm. I sent him home.
Okay.
I send them home because if you're not gonna be a good child, then I'm not. If you don't respect your mom and daddy, then how can I expect you to respect me?
Right.
And so I sent them home. So the kids knew. I always told the kids I I coach football players. I don't coach parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If your parents want to
That's
come up
big.
here and talk about a legitimate concern, they can come up here and do that. But if they want to come up here and ask me why you're not playing,
Right.
you can tell them that.
Right.
Tell them don't come to me with that and stuff, you know. And so basically, just the opportunity.
Okay.
And as I think about it, I go back and I think about my upbringing.
Okay.
Think about my little league coach, Mr. Leonard Scott.
Leonard Scott.
You know, I mean, that was the first time it was baseball. As I left Little League, I went to Babe Ruth.
Okay.
Mr. Solomon Knight Sr. was my coach,
Coach Knight.
you know. I mean, and those were the times, and, you know, and we would have, I would take that black liquid polish and shine my shoes up and just going and walking to Albert Park. It was just an exciting time for us,
Right.
you know. Then when I got to high school, it was Coach Liefers Johnson.
Okay.
Then Coach Harry Scott. And when I met Coach Ernest Washington, you know, Coach Washington just, you know, they had a thing at Tuskegee High School. I can't remember if we said it when I was in high school, but I can remember it today. And they would say Tuskegee High School, great pride, great tradition.
Right.
We can, we must, we will, you
Right.
know. And it was just so much pride. It was something about, like, you know, putting that uniform on and having TIHS across our chest, you know, and stuff, you know. And we had to basically, you know, we represented that well and stuff. And then when I went to college,
Okay.
having the opportunity to play for the legendary Coach Haywood Sissom, who had been a legend on the high school level before he came to Tuskegee Institute at that time. Having played for him, and I'll never forget one night we were sitting there and we had about 100 ball players. And I can hear Coach Sissom tell the kids now, he said, I have 2 daughters. He said, but if I had a son, I want to be like Bernie Patrick.
Wow.
You know, and
That's
it
strong
was
now.
just so much the expectations.
Right.
You know, going back to I think a question that Willie asked earlier, and think about it. You know, remember I was raised in the church.
Right.
Proverbs 22:6 said, train up a child in the way he or she should go.
Right.
And when they're old, they won't depart.
Right.
Now, it didn't say you might not get off track.
Right.
You might get off track. You might deviate from it. But because you were trained,
Right. You're trained.
then the God in you go eventually come out, and eventually you go back to basically how you was trained.
Right.
You know, and I just always wanted to be. I think a lot of ball players. The hardest lick I ever got in football was we were practicing downtown one night, and this defensive back from Madison, Florida, he was just upset because it was Bernie Patrick this and Bernie Patrick that with the coaching staff. You know, where I was more mature than the rest of them. So they just one night he called me and I was supposed to be running the down, out, and up. And once I went down and went to go up, he turned out the lights, you know.
Wow.
But I found out later on he was jealous because, you know, but I just have always wanted to be a good person and a good man. And when parents would bring their kids to me, and like they trusted me with their most prized possession.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to do it like I think most parents would do it. Sometimes I don't worry about how the parent would do it. I'm going to do it, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what I expect out of my ball players and stuff, you know. Had a situation at Booker T. Washington one day. 3 of my football players left
Okay.
and went off campus. Didn't nobody know they was gone but me.
Okay.
Didn't nobody know that. So I could have went on. So when we went to practice, I asked the coaches, I said, where's so-and-so? And they said, they're not here. And so I went up in the parking lot and I waited for them. They had been to McDonald's. And when they came out, I looked at them and they dropped their head. I told them, follow me. I went to the principal's office and I asked him what was the consequences for leaving campus without permission.
Right.
He said that was all. This was on Wednesday.
Right.
We was getting ready to play on that Friday.
Wow.
My starting center, starting guard, and starting tight end.
Right.
And I told him, I said, well, these 3 young men left campus. And I walked out the door. And he put them out of school and stuff, you know. Yeah. And I've always, you know, and all my ball players know with me, you got to be right.
You got to be right.
You got to be right.
Let me go down. Let me go. Can I bag back a little bit, Coach? I want to go back to Zion Hill, Rockefeller, Greenfield, Greenwood.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go there. Let's go there.
Okay.
I want to go there. Just start because I know for one. Now I played for Rockefeller. Zion Hill was very competitive at the time. You know what I mean? You get Rockefeller. Greenwood was pretty good.
Hold up. You used the word competitive.
Yeah.
Just said we were good.
You're good. You were good. Now, I'm gonna tell you like this though. Now, Zion Hill was the cleanest. Now, can nobody touch y'all ever? You know what I mean? You guys sharp.
You look good.
You look good.
You play
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about when I say when you guys came in the ring, when y'all came into the facility, when y'all the only one that did it at first. Now we copied off y'all. Now we did a lot of copying off Zion Hill.
Yeah, because Rockefeller was the
man.
thing.
Tell me, we did a lot of copying off Zion Hill, man.
Rockefeller was the deal in my day.
When they came in, check this out. When they came in, coach come in first. They start right there by the gate. Everybody run all the way in. They come around. They go on the like the college do. They come right there. Each one of them get on the line, 45-yard line, 35-yard, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And then one person come out there and do that way back, do all the way backs and stuff like that. Everybody else they just walk in. But when they came in, when Zion coming, everybody just stood up and watched them. Everybody got the same exact thing on. Everything got the same mouthpiece. Helmet, same color. Shirt, the same color. Pants, white or black, whatever color it is. Cleat, good. They were clean now. I ain't gonna lie. They were clean. Everybody loved to see Zion Hill play.
We were the first team to wear pimp rags.
Yeah.
eye black, where they put the black up under the kids' eyes and things, you know. And it was an accident that I ended up coaching Zion Hill.
Wow.
At that time, I was the sports director for the city of Tuskegee Recreation Department.
Okay.
So it was my job. I went to the schools and basically put basketball like it was when I was in school back in the elementary school.
Okay.
I'm going to basketball first.
Okay.
Lewis Adams used to practice in their cafeteria after lunch.
Right.
I can't remember where, Washington Public and St. Joseph. At that time, John Ford was playing. I think John was at St. Joseph.
St. Joseph, yeah.
You know, and we basically had all these teams and stuff. And a young man in your probably never heard the name, named Bobby Fields, Phill. Bobby started playing at Tuskegee High School. His parents eventually moved to Louisiana. And Bobby played at Southern University. I think his senior year, he might have led the nation in scoring when he was at Southern University.
Wow.
He got drafted by the Charlotte Hornets and ended up buying this real fast car and left practice one day. And it was a situation almost similar to Henry Rose.
Right.
And he killed himself,
Wow.
you know. But he learned how to play right in the cafeteria over there at Lewis Adams. Mr. Peterson was his coach. Then football season came along.
Okay.
I want to say we had Mr. Ulysses Roberts, who was the coach at Greenfield. I want to say Mudcat Robert Bryant was the coach at Greenwood.
Right.
And Frank Walker was the coach at Rockefeller.
That's right.
Well, Zion Hill didn't have a coach.
Right.
I had no intentions of coaching.
Right.
but I went on and coached the team.
Right.
That was probably the best. I think that team probably had, and you probably don't remember that team. Gilbert Renfro was on the first team that we had. Gilbert Renfro was a star quarterback at Tuskegee High School, who went to Tennessee State, and was the first African American quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons back in the day, before Michael Vick. Yep. But he ended up, I think he got cut from the Falcons, but he ended up in the Canadian League about 8 or 9 years. But that's basically how I got started with the coaching. And we used to have something new. Everybody couldn't wait to see Zion Hill. When Zion Hill came in the stadium, as I was telling Willie the other night,
I'm telling you.
when I had Maurice Hurd and Horace Brooks, we played on Wednesday nights and Sunday evenings at City Park downtown.
Right.
People used to come to the stadium early to watch Zion Hill warm up.
That's right. Warm up. That's
warm
right.
up.
Warm up.
Because it was fascinating to see Maurice Hurd at 12 years old that could throw a football like he used to throw it. And Horace Brooks could go get it.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
And those were some, those were basically, all those kids basically end up following us at Tuskegee High School and had productive careers.
That's right.
At Tuskegee High School.
Okay. All right. Now let's get to the athletes, and this is what everybody really want to talk about. These athletes. We're gonna coach over 4,000, and made impact on a lot of people's lives. And boy, let's get down to the statistics right here. Now we've been having little individual bets on these athletes and stuff like that, and everybody got their own personal opinion about a lot of these athletes. But you the coach, and you have coached each and every last one of these guys. We had been a big debate about it. And I want you to we want to hear the coaches' list on those athletes. Yeah.
That's a rough predicament right there. I've been blessed, and as I always tell people, the coaching record that we have from Tuskegee High School to BTW, do I wish it could have been better? Yes. But the athletes that I've had the opportunity to coach since 1983 at Tuskegee High School and Booker T. Washington High School, I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Wow.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Because they did everything I asked them to do.
Right.
They came to practice.
Right.
I'll never forget one day at Booker T. Washington, I told the kids, if you don't work out during the summer, you're not going to play.
Right.
I'm going to leave my daughter and wife and come to practice. And why you can't come? What
Right.
Why you can't come? And so I had this ball player. He told his dad that they was getting ready to go to Gulf Shores and to a work conference for his dad. Mm-hmm. He said, "Dad, I can't go." The dad said, "What you mean you can't go?" He said, "Coach Patrick said we got to be at workout." He said, "Coach Patrick don't feed you."
Right.
And the young man said, "Yeah, I know that, but Dad," he said, So the daddy wrote me a letter and asked for my permission for his child to go, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because, he had signed on, I wasn't going to deprive the kid. Right. I knew he was the kind of kid that would go on vacation and basically do what he needed to do to stay in condition and stuff, Mm-hmm. I asked a lot of those young men, and I'm filibustering. You see them.
Yeah, because I'm finna say, man, who the best, Coach? That's what I'm finna say. Coach, who the best, Coach? Go on, break it down. I want to know. Because I got my little who I think.
But
and then,
I'm gonna start off at Booker T. Washington High School.
Okay.
Is anybody on here saying anything? I want y'all to put y'all comments down.
Yeah, we go. So, Booty, that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
Get it like after he break it down.
Yeah,
Because I got LaSalle when I bust out laughing. Man, LaSalle said something about Big the Clock, man. That's why I started laughing. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna start off at this young man was. I'm not gonna put him in any particular order.
Okay.
This young man basically. If you know anything about the NFL, I saw him as our run it lot, Steve Atwater type of ball player. Cedric Hosey. Cedric Hosey was the first Booker T. Washington High School player before this year that signed a major college scholarship.
Wow.
You know, he signed with Auburn University.
Right.
Things didn't work out. You know, I never really got into it with him. All I wanted him to do was go to school and continue his education. He transferred to Tennessee State, where he was a starter at Tennessee State, and he was the Ohio Valley Defensive Player of the Year 1 year when he was up there. So Cedric Hosey is in there. Corbin Johnson.
Okay.
Corbin Johnson.
Okay.
When I first got Corbin, he was a defensive back.
Okay.
Woe number 4.
Number 4. Uh-oh.
I made him a wide receiver.
Okay.
And put number 9 on him. Probably from a technician standpoint, route running standpoint, one of the best wide receivers to ever come through Tuskegee.
Wow.
And I had to remind Corbin sometimes.
Let's give a big round of applause. Let's give a big round of applause.
I had to remind Corbin sometime when he be sticking his chest out.
Right.
Who taught him?
Okay.
I had to remind him. I had to remind him. Him taught him, and I said, I'm not like the average teacher.
Right.
I didn't teach you everything I know.
Right.
You know, but I taught him enough. I watched Corbin play when he was at Alcorn.
Okay. Alcorn.
I watched him play over in Fort Valley, Georgia. And I watched him play down at Alabama State at Crampton Bowl. Corbin Johnson, his footwork, he probably could run the best post corner.
Wow.
Not quite as good as mine. But the year that his senior year, we was playing Tallis over in Tallis. It was Tallis at homecoming.
Okay.
And we needed 2 points, and Jason Keys put the ball right on point, and Corbin. But the way he ran the post corner, and he ran it on a pretty good. Derek Ansley, who was the defensive back there for Tallis, he really ran a good route against him. But I had to remind him that he the student.
That's right.
And I'm the teacher. Frank Bernard Walker, the second.
Frank.
Campbell Drive, baby. Bye, boy.
I really tried to make a wide receiver out of Frank. He made a joke out of it. I tried to make a wide receiver out of it. He make a joke out of it now about him knocking all the balls down on purpose. I told him that's why we put you at defensive back, because you couldn't catch. That's how we
So he said he was doing it on purpose.
He said he would tell you, he had somebody ball some paper and throw it to me, and he'd knock it down and this, that, and other, like he was doing it on purpose and stuff. I said, that's why we put you at defensive back, because you can't catch, know. So, but I was contemplating on getting out of coaching.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this. Corbin Johnson's sister was a major at Booker T. Washington.
Okay.
So when Corbin and Frank was my athletic trainers when they were at Tuskegee Public.
Okay.
So every Friday night, they would, his sister went with the band, and Frank and Corbin would go with me.
Right.
things weren't going like I wanted them to go, and we was down in Ozark, Alabama. And I told the football team at halftime that this was going to be my last year coaching. As I walked out the door, Frank was, like I said, he was probably 6th grade.
Okay.
He couldn't get no further than my knees. He grabbed me around my knees as I walked out the door.
Wow.
And he started crying.
Wow.
And he said, Coach,
Wow.
I want you to coach me in high school.
Wow.
To play it back and go full circle. I never really thought,
Right.
you know, when I came back to BTW for the second time, that I would end up coaching this same little boy.
Yeah.
That was my athletic trainer, you know. Frank holds a very special, you know, place in my heart. You know, I mean, if you know Frank,
That's right.
you know Frank,
That's
you
right,
know.
that's
But
right.
Frank, my boy, I mean, and the good thing that I like about coaching, and we do this now
Right.
with my ball players. And their wives understand this. Their girlfriends understand this. We don't get off the phone without saying we love each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's great.
And I told the kids, you know, because the young kids don't understand that kind of love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, when the kids first heard me talk about me loving another man, they look, you know,
Right.
and I'm saying you wouldn't understand it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was just that the battles and the wars that we've gone through and stuff, you know. But Frank Walker is like I said, I'm not putting him in no order. I'm just talking about some dogs.
That's right. Some dogs.
And when I'm saying dogs, young people, in the order, I'm talking about athletes.
Athletes.
That's a special breed.
Special breed.
Special breed.
Special breed.
Chad Lucas.
Chad Lucas. Oh, a Chad in there. Okay.
Chad in
Shout out
there.
to Chad.
Chad Lucas. Chad and Chad Lucas' dad and myself played together at Tuskegee Institute.
Okay.
In the spring of Chad's sophomore year, I was sitting in the gym at Booker T. Washington High School, and Chad came in the back door. And at that time, Chad was a drum major for the band.
He told us that. Okay.
He was a drum major.
Okay.
And he came to me and he told me, he said, Coach, I want you to make me a wide receiver.
Okay.
And I explained to him the process that it was going to take and the early 6 o'clock practices and this, that, and the other and stuff. And he bought into it. And earned a scholarship to Troy. I think it was Troy State at that time. He eventually transferred to Alabama State, where he had an outstanding career. Chad has been with the Green Bay Packers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, had a good career. Right now, he's a wide receiver coach at the University of Florida.
Great.
So but Chad is in that group. David Biggers.
David Biggers. Okay.
Campbell Drive.
Nah.
No.
He ain't Campbell. That was our rival. You know, me and Frank was Campbell Drive. They was
Okay.
I forgot what they used to call themselves. Me, Frank, and Corbin was Campbell Drive.
Okay, but
David, good people though.
Yeah,
That's my boy.
David Biggers, did an outstanding job for us at Booker T. Washington High School, and I talked to David on a regular basis. The kids are into soccer and softball and gymnastics and this, that, and so they keeping him on the run, and he's learning to coach sports that he never thought as a helping parent.
That's all right.
James Patrick,
who's
my kinfolk.
That's right.
James played with the New England Patriots, played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and also played in the Canadian year with Saskatchewan. I think he played about 5 or 6 years. He did a good job for them. Got to put my man Jason Keys in there. Did a good job for us. And Nate Jones, I know.
I know Nate Jones.
Yeah, Nate Jones.
He played linebacker for you.
Played linebacker. I went up there and played with Kevin Powell and them at Tuskegee.
Is he still around? Where is Nate?
Nate,
He graduated now, right?
San Diego,
Yeah, he
California.
been gone.
graduated.
Yeah, San Diego,
I
California.
ain't seen Nate in
Yeah,
years.
it's been a while.
Right.
Nate was a basketball player
Wow.
until he got fired. I think best thing happened to him when Coach Tarver fired him
Right.
on the basketball team.
Right.
He came to football practice, and the rest of it history.
Wow. Wow.
You talking about a hit man.
Yeah.
So that basically sums it up for
BTW.
BTW.
BTW. Now, what about my alma mater? Tuskegee Institute.
Tuskegee Institute High School.
TIHS in the building.
Willie Whitehead.
Classmate.
Willie Whitehead played,
CO9.
think he played 8 years.
Okay.
Walked on at Auburn University, earned a scholarship, and the rest of his history. Played 8 years with the New Orleans Saints. I never forget when Whitehead, he had tried out with Detroit and the 49ers, and things didn't work out. And then the New Orleans Saints picked him up.
Right.
I told my wife, I said, he going to make this team. She said, well, what's going to be different in the past? I said, it's the coach. His coach was named Bill Hanslick, who used to play linebacker for the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
His elevator didn't go to the top. He didn't understand walk through a slope at a slow pace. He didn't know about one speed.
Right.
Whitehead don't know about one speed. He don't know about one speed, And so I knew when he saw Whitehead play, that he was gonna like Whitehead, and Whitehead got in there, and because in the pros a lot different than high school and college.
That's right.
When he was with the 49ers, the veteran ball player asked him, you out there, you trying to get the coach's attention. So you out there going full speed. Well, the veteran done played 8 or 9 years, he feel like he don't have to go full speed.
Right.
And if you go full speed, you trying to show him up.
Right.
And so they told him, said, hold on, rookie. You need to slow down.
Right.
You trying to show us up, but Willie did a good job. Cephas Holmes.
Cephas. Cephas.
They say Cephas was a bad boy. That's kinfolks right there. That's kinfolk.
Probably have some of the best, his feet. Defensive back had to have good footwork. And he had that, went to Tennessee State. But if he had stayed on task and stayed on course, he could have been something special. Could have been something special.
So C played both sides, though, didn't he?
I put him at quarterback.
Okay.
I put him at quarterback because I needed him at quarterback.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, Cephas had a chipped bone in his wrist.
Okay.
His daddy took him to the doctor. And the daddy brought him to school, and we were standing outside at Tuskegee High School. And I asked the dad, I said, what did the doctor say? He said he got a chipped bone in his wrist. And his daddy said, well, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna put some tape on it. and we go on and play. Because we was teaching young men that it's a difference between hurt and pain. See, if it hurt, that means you might not be able to go.
Right.
You might not be able to go. I played football with a hip pointer. I played with a broken nose. I played with a semi-broken foot. It's mind over matter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it's a mental thing and stuff. So he went on, but Cephas did a good job for us and stuff. And Cephas probably was part of Cephas, Horace Brooks, Whitehead, Chris Wimbush was probably part of one of the biggest wins we will ever have.
Right.
In Tuskegee.
Right.
We went to Prattville.
Okay.
And it was Prattville homecoming. They had won the state championship the year before. And we beat them 6-0 down there. And they had a young man who played with went to Alabama and also played with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
And but like I said, he did a good job for us. John Jackson, y'all probably
I've never
John,
heard
he
of John
Mr.
Jackson.
Football, wasn't he?
John Jackson was an all-state
That's
receiver.
right. John Jackson.
Was supposed to go to Grambling.
Right.
Probably caught. He came along during that era when Maurice Hurd was his quarterback.
Right.
When Jerry Rice had just left Mississippi Valley.
He played design here too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
And we had installed some of the same receiver routes that Jerry Rice ran when he was at Mississippi Valley.
Wow.
And John probably caught 80-some passes that year. You know, he was something special.
Wow.
Maurice Hurd.
The GOAT. The GOAT.
Maurice Hurd.
Maurice Hurd.
As I was telling y'all earlier, and Maurice, I moved Maurice to quarterback when he really didn't want to, a lot of time a coach had to do what's best for the team.
That's right.
Maurice, and I can still see Maurice now when he was a catcher in baseball.
Okay.
For Zion Hill.
Zion Hill.
And when them little boys used to come home trying to scope, back then you could block the plate and everything. Right. And Maurice didn't only just want to tag him out. He wanted to knock him out, and stuff. But so he thought he was a linebacker and stuff, and I moved him to quarterback. And in HBCUs, Maurice Hurd is in the record book. He threw 89 touchdowns while he was at Tuskegee Institute.
Right.
And Doug Williams threw 93.
Okay.
While he was at Grambling.
Wow.
And now I'm gonna get down to the one now that.
Everybody been waiting on. Can we get a drum roll over there? Equipment man, can we get a drum roll?
If you never had the opportunity, I think a coach at Alabama State, I don't want to say nothing stupid.
Right.
But we had a coach at Alabama State said that this young man was so good, he thought he was a piece of Jesus' feet.
Wow.
He was just that good. This young man, Horace Brooks.
Horace Brooks.
All-state wide receiver at Tuskegee High School. He was something special.
Yeah.
Went to Alabama State. At Alabama State, I think he started as a freshman. Back there along with Reggie Barlow and all of them. He started as a freshman. As his career winded down at Alabama State, back then they had what they called a blue-gray game that was played in Montgomery on Christmas Day.
Right.
Horace played in the blue-gray game. Matter of fact, Horace scored a touchdown in the blue-gray game.
Right.
2 weeks later, Horace played in what they call, I don't even think they play it now, it was the North-South Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. He scored a touchdown against a defensive back from the University of Florida. He was just something special. I know a lot of folks been waiting, I never forget we was playing, I can't think of the name of the school. And the coach said he'll kick off to us.
Right.
So the coach kicked off. Horace got the ball. It's 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
On the clock. With 11 minutes and 48 seconds, Horace was in the end zone. Against the team and stuff. He was a kickoff. He was something special and stuff. Right. So we've always had we've had some good athletes. Right. And as I told you all, I said I was telling you this morning. I said I'm gonna look at some of my some of the throwers. One thing we've been blessed with here in Tuskegee. I think one of the things that might have hurt us when I was coaching was we never had a whole lot of big people. But we always had good receivers and good running backs and good quarterbacks. So I put down From all time. I can't go back, and some folks might, because I can't go back no further than late 70s, early 70s. But I think Gilbert Renfro, not necessarily in no particular order, but basically because he's older than the rest of them. Gilbert Renfro, Jack Smith. I mean, Jack Smith was something. Jack Smith was my quarterback when I was in high school. About 6'3", left-handed, went to Alabama A&M. He was something special. Mother was a secretary at Tuskegee High School. James Ligon. Yeah. Ligon was at Tuskegee at the same time I was at Tuskegee. And he can, when I tell you he could throw it. And then Maurice Hurd. We've always had good wide receivers. I'm going to start off with Leon Gillette. Yeah, Leon Gillette. John Smith, I don't know if y'all know, they call him Pee-wee.
Yeah, Pee-wee, I know Pee-wee.
Pee-wee used to cook down there, right behind
liquor store
downtown. He was something special. He was something special. John Jackson, who I mentioned earlier, Horace Brooks, Corbin Johnson, and yours truly. Yours truly.
We know that nigga. Who is yours truly? Tell me who you talking about. Yours truly.
Yours truly is Elwood Bernie Patrick.
There it is.
And sometimes, because a lot of time people don't want to give you recognition, sometimes you have to toot your own horn.
That's right.
The only athlete, to ever go to college and play all three major sports. Wow. My freshman year at Selma University, I played basketball. Well, in high school, I could get away with being 6'2".
Right.
After my freshman year in college with basketball, the point guard was 6'3".
Right, 6'3". Okay.
And so I'm saying something got to change. So I told the coach, I said, Coach, I want to come back the next year, but I want to play baseball. Okay. So I was the number one pitcher on the baseball team. I was asked when I was at Tuskegee Institute to play basketball, but I thought it was a little too much when I got to the university, and so I just stuck with football and stuff, But I learned how to catch a football at nighttime.
Okay.
I used to tell the kids I could catch a BB in the dog. I had a football, and it had, football had the white rings around.
Right.
I used to stand out in the dark and throw it up. I knew several times it would hit me on the nose, but I throw it up because I knew if I threw it up, it would come back down the same way I threw it up. And that's really how I learned how to. I learned how to catch. I learned how to run routes. My favorite wide receiver back then was Roy. Y'all too young to remember Roy Jefferson. Roy Jefferson was the wide receiver for the Baltimore Colts at that time. And my favorite wide receiver was Roy Jefferson of the Colts and Charlie Taylor from the Washington Redskins. And I used to go to my grandmother's house and watch the TV on the black and white TV. Right. And I would run home. Running past patterns. At that time, we were staying on Brown Street. Okay. And I would go through the trail at Washington Public like a snake, running routes. And that's how I learned how to play, learn how to run for south routes and stuff, And so we've always had good wide receivers. Right. Always had good wide receivers and good quarterbacks.
Okay. I see. So I've been known to look on people paper when I was in school and cheat. I see a comment on this paper over here.
Okay.
This comment said, wish I could have played against Frank. And Frank is my guy.
Yeah.
So, I need to know what that statement means. Like, something would have happened?
I was...
Something would have happened? Like, I need some clarification because I can call Frank right now.
Okay.
Get him on the phone.
Get him on the phone. Get him on the phone. I gotta hear this.
Let me see. But
get
see,
him on-
Frank
get him
gonna
on
say
the
something
phone,
stupid, man. Frank gonna say something stupid.
well, I know that.
We gonna get him on the
That's
phone.
why I put it down here.
We gonna get him on the
That's
phone.
why I
Let's
put
see.
it down here.
Call him, please.
I'm
call
trying
him.
to get him.
I gotta
Put it
hear
down
this.
here.
I gotta hear this. I gotta hear him. Put him on the mic.
Lord have mercy.
That's why I put it there for a reason.
You think he'll pick
Let's
up?
see. He might not have this number saved.
Okay.
But he might. I don't know.
Well,
Yo,
we
he
live
picked
right
up.
now, y'all. It's
Frank,
right
you on the podcast, right?
Okay.
And we're interviewing this special guy today, right? And on his paper it say, I wish I could have played against Frank Walker.
You know who it is.
So when I saw that,
You know who it is.
you know I had to
You know
see.
who it is.
I had to see. I need the mic to hear you.
You know.
I had to see, Frank.
You know who.
By the time I was done dusting you off out there, the folk would have been saying Frank Walker own him.
You know I got mad when I saw that on the paper, Frank.
Wish he could have played against me.
Hey.
Willie, you asked
Cut him a little bit.
because he know the type of player I am.
Right.
You asked him what he told me when I played against Chad Lucas. He know the type of player I am.
Frank, I'm not Chad.
It don't matter if you're not Chad, but you know who I am because you know what I was going to do to that boy. That's why you called me before that game, told me, Frank, remember, y'all grew up together. Remember, don't you do him like that out there. Tell them folks you begged and plead for Chad Lucas.
Well, I'm not gonna go that far to say I begged and plead. I did ask you
To be nice.
yeah. But I know, I know you, and I know you. I know how good you are. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But this ain't what you want. This ain't what you want now.
Right.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever whooped anybody more times than you whooped Frank Walker?
Hey, Frank, why I got
more
you?
whooping,
Because
Frank.
I wanted to tell the story, but
Right.
I couldn't remember. Tell me about the story when Coach Patrick told you to take off everything.
Put it close to the phone.
We had football practice, and Coach Patrick moved me to wide receiver. See, now that I look back on it,
Yeah.
I should have did it because, man, I would have been great at wide receiver because it was so easy for me to get open.
Yeah.
But all I know is that I'm the running back. So Coach Patrick put me at wide receiver. I forget who was checking me. I got wide open. I ran an out route. The ball came to me, hit me in my hands. I threw that motherfucker right on the ground. Boom. Coach Patrick, get your ass back up there.
It's just so stupid.
Hey, so I lined back up, Willie. He lined somebody else up out there to check me. I do it again. Boom, boom, boom. Get wide open. The ball comes to me. I catch it in my hands and I sling it down. So it's an incomplete pass. This nigga Coach Patrick say, take all my shit off. so Willie, I take off my helmet and my shoulder pads. And, I leave it on the ground. That nigga said, no. All my shit. And really, the only thing I owned was a jock strap. So,
Hey, I wanted to tell it so bad, Frank, but I didn't want to mess it up.
But I had told him earlier. About how you tried to demonstrate that time, and you had somebody ball some paper up, and talking about Coach Patrick tried to make me a wide receiver. I just threw the ball down. I tried to tell him.
Hey, man, I would have been, listen, now that I look back on it, man, I would have been a damn good wide receiver, man. Damn, I should have did that, man. I should have did that.
It's all good, man.
But
He'd already let me fill all them touchdowns at running back, though.
But I told him, that was the last thing I wanted to talk about, that I wish I could have played against you. I mean that.
Uh-oh.
Coach Patrick.
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
It ain't enough tea in China for to save you, baby.
So what?
It ain't enough tea in China for me to keep you off your ass. Man. Coach Patrick, when I would have got done, see, it depends on what era you catch me in. If you catch me in high school, it'll be a decent duel. In college, you ain't want none of that.
Well, I wanted you when you was in college or at the NFL level.
No, I want you to get me in college when I ain't bought a curb. I ain't care who it was. Mamas, daddies, cousins, everybody can get it. Anybody. And guess what? Coach Bernie Patrick would have got it. He would have got it, but I promise you wouldn't have been exempt.
Okay.
So I tell you, you signed it. You called me for Chad Luca. I can imagine the deals you would make for yourself.
Why would I need a deal?
What you mean? Why would you need a deal?
You know, I don't need no deal.
Hey, this is what I want y'all to do, right? Willie Street, on my page, on my Instagram page, somewhere, it's me coming up, stopping a run, right? I'm going to try to find it and send it to y'all. And I want you to watch what I do to his leg at the end of the play. Because I tried to break it in half.
I see.
For no reason.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
no reason.
Hey.
But niggas talking to me before the game like you want to tell me what I wish I could play out, man.
Now, was it the Auburn State game or which one was that?
I don't know.
No, I'm talking about when you was when you tackled that man and twisted his leg in college.
Are you talking about when I got scored on?
No, that was.
That might have been Auburn State game. It's on my Instagram page. I'm gonna send it to y'all just to know what you would have to deal with. Play in and play out, Coach Patrick. Because see, a lot of people don't. I play quarterback, but don't get to Coach Patrick. I'm from Tuskegee.
Yeah.
I'm from Tuskegee now, so football is cool, but I was born a dog. And in order to come to the barbershop with Booty Rush when I'm 13 years old and they're grown and I'm shooting dice. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's a different kind of nigga now.
But see, I just told him I had you when you was in the 6th grade, so I know the dog in you. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you still willing to mess with that dog?
But you don't know the dog in me.
Okay.
You don't know the dog in me.
Okay. I give you credit for that. Now,
Okay.
I have heard stories about Bernie Patrick catch a BB in the dog. I heard stories now.
Okay.
I know you can catch and play football, but man, Coach Patrick, it's so hard when people just pound on you all day long. All day long, because that's what I'm going to do. I don't never let up.
Okay.
Right.
I don't never let up. I don't care what you do out there. You can cut me. You can block me. All you're going to do is come back to the next play. But boy, that nigga right there won't stop. That's the niggas to the SIAC. That's the niggas, man.
All right, Frank, man. Let her in.
All them Horace Brooks and all. I don't see none of that.
Oh.
Call me, man. Anything that came out your kennel,
Good old day.
All right, man. We go get this, man. We go hit the back, Frank, man. All right, that nigga crazy, man. Well, now you see why I go for my boy. I can't go against nobody that believe in themselves like that.
He got some hell of a confidence. Now I can tell you a story about Frank too. Also when
Go ahead. Yeah, he was on here. I was gonna try to go through some of the comments. Go ahead, Booty.
Yeah, Frank was a little tough kid when he was really young. When his dad was coaching at Rockefeller, and he used to have those little plastic pee-wee helmet on with a little pad, just little small pad, and his sister was a cheerleader. So when they get dropped off at practice, we supposed to be doing our laps, doing our exercise and stuff like that. So when Frank get there, his daddy get there, Frank tell them all us that we've been playing buck meat. You know what I mean? We been playing buck meat. There ain't nobody did no exercise. So the next day come in, he get dropped off again. Now we got to chase him and catch him, but we couldn't catch him. Cause we catch him, the big boy, you rough you up a little bit. You know what I mean? But he was just in the grad playing. But it toughened him up a whole lot. But that's some of the things that
Man, let me tell you something,
back
man.
then when he was coming up, man.
So
I
grew up with Frank. Stayed right down the street every morning, 6:30, 7 in the morning, knocking on the door. Frank was so bad, bro.
Yeah.
That so in our neighborhood. In that era, me and Frank were kind of like the only kids. You had Rodney Dorsey, Sean Burton, all them. They had gone a little bit, though. So the thing was to go to Marble Subdivision, Marcus Nighthouse, Chris Driscoll, people house like that. Right. But not these particular guys want to say that. But just when getting ready to go somewhere, you know what people would ask me? Is Frank gonna be with you? You can't come to Frank. But this is my guy though, so yeah, he gonna be with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, man? Frank was. I'm telling you, man. Frank was something serious. He a different animal now.
You know,
and I'm scared. I was scared to FaceTime him. I'm telling you, cause me and him got some beef going on about cooking right now. So I didn't know what he was finna say right here.
But I remember back in the day, whether it was at the university or at a high school game, you know, it would be halftime. Mm-hmm. And the team be going in, you know, in the halftime, the referee take the basketball and put the ball over there by the scores clock. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, next thing you know, Frank got a game going on at halftime and stuff, you know.
So let's go through some of these comments, coaches. So LaSalle said, "What up, Coach Patrick? Remember that? Well, you got some comments too, right?"
Mine disappeared.
Okay, he say, "What up, Coach Patrick? Remember the time I got hit so hard in practice that I quit? I was stick to making people laugh." You got Tony Mars. I definitely appreciate everything, Coach. That's Asia Smith. Hey, Coach Patrick. Asia Smith, Coach didn't play. Victor Clark. I got something to say to Coach Patrick. Vic LL, way he got us, I don't know what he was talking about. As long as the prayer is sincere. Hey, Coach, this is what I laughed at when he said, "Hey, Coach, what I really wanted to know is, did you have to order a special helmet for Victor Clark to fit his head?" Yeah. And then Victor Clark made a comment, Tony Mars, he told Stroud, "Go play the tuba." I guess that's somebody he told. Renee Demar, hey, Coach Patrick.
Why you reading that, Coach? I want to ask you a question. Why you reading that? Who out of Booker T. Washington and Tuskegee Institute High School, and I know all the time that the players, they get to themselves and they mark you. You know what I mean? They do the impression of Coach. You know, all of them did it. Now, from what you have heard, from Booker T. Washington High School and to Tuskegee Institute High School, who you have caught saying that, and who is the best impersonator that you think you heard from impersonating you?
You talking about just students in general?
Just students. Booker T. Washington and Tuskegee Institute High School.
I can't remember the young man's name, but he was from Shorter. And his mother drove school bus.
Okay.
And she said he used to be at home practicing in the mirror. She said she knew nobody in the house but them.
Yeah, right.
But he would be in there, you know, and say he would be, you know, marking me. I've seen him clear a whole hall.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen him clear a whole hall and stuff, you know. So
Corbin Johnson said Chris Copeland. Corbin Johnson said Chris Copeland.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you who did us when we was in school. Talibou.
Okay.
Talibou. Talibou was one of them.
Yeah.
Leon Stevens said, "I wish I could have played for Coach Patrick." That was Bubba. Brian Kennedy say, "Ask Coach who his top 10 fastest players. He better be on the list." That's Brian Kennedy now.
Okay. He's on the list.
He on the list?
Brian Kennedy was pretty fast.
Yeah.
Really?
You know, we got, I think, Brian, Roderick Claude. You don't remember Roderick?
Yeah, I remember Roderick Claude.
Yeah. You know, they left the band.
Yeah.
Okay.
They left
You know,
the band.
Frank left the band too now.
Right.
What?
Yeah, Frank wanted to play the drum.
I didn't know that.
I know that.
See, Frank would never admit. Frank wanted to be like me a little bit when we were young. He not going, and you know, I was a hell of a drummer.
Okay.
So Frank was in the band. They made him do some push-up, the section leader.
Right.
And he left and went to the football field.
Okay.
He started off in the band, trying to play the drum.
I be doggone. Wow.
Yeah. He'll probably admit it. He ain't gonna admit he wanted to be like me when we were young. But
So the fastest players, one of the fastest, what you doing, the fastest player just then?
yeah, it gotta be Raymond Young.
No.
Ray ain't
Let me give me a Walter Hand.
We had some. I don't think Ray was as fast as we thought he was.
Man, you must.
Fonzo.
Nah,
I've never just,
he was just quick. Fonzo wasn't fast. Fonzo was quick, right?
Yeah, he was quick.
Yeah, he wasn't
One
fast.
fast.
Yeah,
What about Walter Hand? Skip.
Skip was fast, you know.
So you said
sometimes
Ray wasn't fast? Wow. Maybe I don't
Not
know
to
what
me, he
fast
was.
is.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Ray was fast when we were betting that money on basketball. Maybe that's when he was fast.
Now Kennedy could run.
Kennedy.
Yeah, Brian Kennedy, he was fast.
Okay.
Brad could
That's it,
run.
I didn't know
He
that.
could run. Yeah.
Hart's pretty fast.
Harris was more Harris speed. Harris Harris had like football speed.
Right.
It's like I've never seen anybody catch him.
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah.
he's not really that fast,
Yeah.
you know. But
Did you coach Eddie Pace?
what did they pay?
Eddie Pace, that be around us.
Be with you all?
Yeah.
But they say he was fast. I ain't say you could play no football. Now.
You know,
You don't remember Eddie was racing? He used to race.
Yeah, I remember, but I ain't never seen him play football.
But I say, I'm just
He
talking
pretty
about
fast with the
speed
feet,
now.
though,
I
yeah.
ain't saying
Yeah,
he
he
could
pretty
catch
fast
no
with the feet.
ball today.
well, you know, those kind of ball players, when we get them, you know, and that's why we made sure we had
Somebody say I was fast.
special drills that we would put them in.
Right.
You know,
Tony Morris said he was fast. Tony Morris.
yeah, you remember Tony? You remember Canderas?
That's good. Yeah, they brothers.
Yeah.
And Darren Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Canderas.
They were East End, baby.
Yeah, that was my quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah, East End,
He
baby.
was my quarterback.
Okay, let me ask you this, Coach. Who you think was the hardest hitter that bring the pain? You ain't got to worry about them. You're not getting past him. The hardest hitter.
We've had basically plenty of those. I look forward to when this young man was in Pee Wee football. I didn't know he was, but he would tackle you hard, but he go do something that calls you a 15-yard penalty. You know, Jerome Grill.
Jerome Grill.
Yeah,
Grill was tough. Yeah, Grill was tough. Yeah.
I couldn't wait for Grill when he was playing with Rockefeller.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait for Grill to get in high school, man. You know.
Yeah, he's supposed to do his thing. That's my classmate too.
Did you get a chance to coach any of the Howards? Nato Howard?
No.
You didn't coach none of them. You ain't coach Powell? Dwayne Murray, Kevin Powell?
No, Coach Bully coached them.
Yeah, them was some hard hitters.
They played Powell and Key played baseball for me. I was baseball coach then.
Okay.
They was baseball coach. You know?
Yeah, them was some.
What about that late Desi Driscoll?
He could hit.
The late Desi Driscoll, man.
I've seen Daddy crack a helmet, man.
Wow.
He was something, you know. I mean, he was something serious.
Right.
That's D-Rock
D-Rock
brother.
D-Rock
Right, brother,
That's
yeah.
his brother. He was a, you know. See, I
Somebody
had all.
said Sean Moe and Steve Moe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you know they you know
Yeah.
we've had plenty of ball players that you know, but hitting is you know it was just something about Grill. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, you know. But like I said, he was dirty now.
Yeah. yeah.
He was dirty.
Yeah. He hit. He sure could.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Man, we got to do a part. We got to do an episode 2 with you, Coach, man. We got a lot of stuff that we need to talk about. Because I know people gonna have a lot of comments a little later on about, you know, some things. And we might have to get you back in here another time. When
Well,
you know.
I'm pretty sure everybody gonna have their own list.
Right.
you know.
Right.
That's why I didn't put them in no
order.
particular order
Right,
and
right.
stuff. But let me say this. We talked about the village.
Okay.
And I thank God for the people that I've had the opportunity that I felt like was in my life that made a difference, that was always there for me. Me and Parlay, I think the last conversation we had before he passed.
P. Parlay, man. Good dude.
Yeah.
Very passionate people.
We was talking one day over at the laundromat, and he was shocked when I told him what I told him. The role that his father had played in getting me to Selma University.
Wow.
Matter of fact, he came by on a Sunday and picked me up. He was from Selma and took me down there, and the rest history. As I was telling Willie, one of my favorite people, basically when I was and I knew him growing up when I was an athlete in high school, Mr. Clarence Cole, which is Willie's grandfather.
Yeah, that's my grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah. I could call Mr. Cole. I mean, I remember when I was at Tuskegee University, and he was always a Tuskegee fan. Then when he moved to Tallahassee, he would be the first person that we would see when we went down to play Florida A&M. I remember that as a player. I remember him when I was coaching. I coached 1 year at Tuskegee before I went to Tuskegee High School. And he would always be there whenever, because, you know, I guess the coaches let him know, Coach Sills and them told him what time the bus would be there, you know, and whatever hotel we was going to, he was always there.
Right.
I had the opportunity when Chiquita went to Florida A&M, I called Mr. Cole. And I told him, I said, we'll be in Tallahassee. She was going to freshman, I forgot what they called it, but it was like freshman orientation.
Right.
And so he came over to the hotel, and he basically, knowing Tallahassee like he knew him, because I said he had moved there, and we'll just appreciate, you know, him for basically being there. I've had some good people in my life, and I thank God for them and stuff. And that's one reason why I felt like I always had to do, not only because of my mom and dad, you know, because of the Patrick name. I just felt like I didn't want to let the people down, the adults and stuff, you know, and that's why I always now, I ran with those, but they never influenced me.
Right.
You know, because my influence came from home and from other adults that I had met, you know, from a positive standpoint. And they had invested too much in me for me to let somebody, you know, and I tell kids, I said, how can you disobey your mother? The person who was the first one to put your pants on your waist. And then you go out there and see somebody in the street with their pants down, and then you drop your pants down. It's like you forgetting all about based on what your mother taught me, you know. And I tell kids, I still remember my mother. You know. And I remember my mother teaching me the Lord's Prayer, you know. I remember her telling me where my hands were supposed to be and everything and stuff, you know, and that's why I never tried as a coach. I never tried to take a parent's place, but that's why I was always there for my players and stuff. And people used to tell me, say, you coach them too hard, you know, and you know, and my whole thing was life was hard, you know. I tried to prepare young men for the real world, you know, and I think we did a good job of that and stuff. You did.
Really good job, Coach.
You know.
Well, Coach, like he said, we got to make this an episode because it's a lot of history. Like I wanted to get into talking about some of the restaurants and stuff, but I just want to again thank you, man, for being that listening ear for me. And when I call you, you know, no hesitation. I mean, I called him last night just to check on him. He was like, what you mean? Like, didn't I tell you I was going to be there? My word is my bond.
Oh, that's right.
You know, I couldn't do nothing but laugh. So that's just what it's about, man. We know it's a lot of history in the city, and we just want to get people on the podcast and promote positivity. That's you know, like, you could have been anywhere in the world, but like you stayed around and helped shape up myself, Frank, you know, some of the other guys to be what I think some great men. So we appreciate you for doing that, and we look forward to part 2.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't change it for anything in the world, you know, because there were always, and I'll never forget, we was doing one summer, and I mean it wasn't summer, it was during school, and the coach at Tuskegee High School had left, and they gave the job for the summer, for that spring training, to the late great Ted Washington.
Oh yeah.
And Ted was the head coach, and he would always call me because he wanted me to run the offense for him and stuff. And so, and we was up in a spring jamboree up in Beauregard High School. And I looked at our kids and I looked at Beauregard kids. And I told myself, because see, Tuskegee High School, when in 1983, when they gave me the job at Tuskegee High School, that was my dream job.
Wow.
I mean, when I went to Booker T. Washington, when they closed Tuskegee High School down, they didn't even have to take me to Booker T. Washington, cause just the opportunity to coach at Tuskegee High School, to be able to walk down the halls at Tuskegee High School, the same school that I used to walk down the halls and actually had an impact. Had an impact, you know. And as I was telling you the other night, you know, I look back over my life sometime. Corbin Johnson and myself was talking one day, and Corbin told me, he said, Coach, he said, one day I want to have a stadium named after me. I said, you already got a stadium named after you. I said, it just got Bernie Patrick's name on it. But it's, you know, but I was standing on all those kids' shoulders. You know what I'm saying? That stadium is not about me. I mean, I could care less. You know, it's not about me. You know, it's the stadium name just tells about the effects. Like I told you last night, you know, I took great pride. When I walked into Booker T. Washington High School, I would go to BTW. I mean, I went to the doctor one day. The doctor said, I need you to come back this evening. Rather than going home and resting, I went to work. I didn't think Booker T. Washington could have school if I wasn't there.
But that's strong, though. That's dedication, too.
I didn't think they could have school if I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? When I walked those halls at Booker T. Washington High School, and like I told somebody recently, I said, you know, I don't get into it, you know, but as I told you last night, I didn't put the bricks there, but I put the mortar inside the bricks. And the mortar is what hold the building together, you know. And so, but I took great pride when I walked in there that every child was safe and this, that, and the other. And, you know, you give me a job, just give me a job and tell me what you want me to do, and to consider it done, you know. And that's basically all we've tried to do for 50-some years. It's just basically have an impact. It's nothing that I ever wanted anybody to talk about. But when I had a young man that came up to me last Wednesday and told me about the effect that and me and this student, I mean, I used to tell myself sometime when I was, you know, in administration, and I told the student one time, I said, you don't never get sick. I said, you be at school every day, you acting a fool. I said, the good kids get sick, but you don't never get sick. You here every day, you know, making our life miserable. You ain't never sick, you know. And our young kid the other day, and yesterday I was had a kid to tell me, he said, Coach, you don't remember me. This was just yesterday, and I talked with you last night. He said, Coach, you probably don't remember me. I said, I remember your face and blah, blah, blah. He said, but I want to thank you. I want to thank you because it made me a better man. You know, he said, you was tough, you know. And because my whole job was, if we had 30 students in a class, 30 students, and one of them was interrupting the learning environment, I was going to get rid of it. It was just, so we basically tried to do and staying at home and getting the opportunity to do some of the things I've had the opportunity to do. I never thought I'd be assistant principal of school, you know. But when they came to me and gave me the opportunity, and then when that didn't work out because of the certification. And when the late Mr. Marvin Brown came to me and he gave me a job description that they were using at Auburn, he said, Coach, he said, we have a dean of students at Auburn. And he said, maybe that. And so that's how the dean of students came basically to Macon County. Because Mr. Marvin Brown bought me the job descriptions and we passed it on and stuff. And we just tried to do, but my whole objective was to keep kids safe with here in the Macon County school system, and for kids to basically want to stay home without going somewhere else and stuff, you know. So it was all about the kids.
Coach, that brings me to I know we got to go, but I got to ask this question here. And you was talking about in terms that the school wouldn't function without you. Now take us back.
I thought they could.
You thought it could.
Yeah. That was a mental, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but then again, I mean, let me say this before you say what you were going to say. I never forget when in 2006, when I decided to retire. I had parents calling me and said, well, we don't need you to retire and blah, blah, blah. And what the kids go do?
Right.
And I sat down and I started thinking, what if I die? What they gonna do? They gonna have school in the morning.
The next day they go.
They gonna have school in the morning. So it helped me to make my decision. That was a mental thing that I had.
Right.
That I thought in order for them to have school, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That I had to be there. You know, that's how much the job meant to me.
That's their dedication.
And yeah, the dedication. That goes back to my question. Take us back to when we had a very, very bad, I said pandemic or epidemic, or those gangs were here. And you was one of the reasons why it kind of cleared away a little bit in the school system. And it was because of you, Coach. You know what I mean? You got rid of some of those gangs that was going in the school system. Now take us back to the way you strategically done. You did some very, very strategically, and it was very smart. And take us there, and for the people to know what had went on in that time.
Well, the only thing we did, the kids that you're talking about, you know, they were my friends.
Okay.
And once we explained to them basically how we wanted things done, you know, even though a lot of those kids have grown up and this, that, and the other, you know, I'll leave it like that.
Right.
We convinced them that, and the way they work with me,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The way they work with me to make sure that we had an environment that was conducive for learning.
Right.
You know, and we had school, you know. And once I explained to them, you know, the agenda that we had and what the purpose was, and I want Booker T. Washington, whether it was Booker T. Washington or Tuskegee High School, the same building that you now occupy, one day your sisters and brothers might have to occupy the same place. And I want it to be here for them. You know what I'm saying? So let's just take pride in what we do, what you know, what we have, and they did a good job of that.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. I just wanted to just ask you that question because I know you, strategically, you know, when you dealing with guys that's, you know, because you deal with all walks of life, you know, and you had to deal with a whole lot of different types of, you know, thugs, want to be thugs and stuff like that. I remember one story you had told me about one time that you had scooped them all up, and you took them with you.
Yeah.
So it ain't gonna be no fights nowhere because they gone with you. Tell us a little bit about that story. There.
Well, what happened when I was coaching at Booker T. Washington on Friday nights, I took 2 buses to the football game. One bus, and without calling it a name, one bus I had football players on. The other bus I had other students on.
Right.
You know, and when I fed the football team, I fed the other students, you know. And I was trying to build trust with them, you know, and get to them where they believed in me and I believed in them. And when something would happen at the school, that they would come to me and basically tell me. And so they did a good job of that and stuff, you know. But we just, you know, you have to just try to come up with ways that will work. You don't know if they'll work you know, but you try them and
Try
stuff,
it.
you know,
So
and
you
so,
gotta try it.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's a really, really good thing. I thought that was a really, really smart, intelligent.
Yeah.
To get, you know what I mean? Yeah. You got to bond that trust, man, and that's what it's all about.
Well, one thing about it now, and I give those young men credit, you know, they believed in Coach Patrick.
Yeah.
You know, some of them wanted to be athletes, but I think you know, a little discipline might have been missing and stuff. You know, the type of discipline that it would have, you know, basically would have taken for them to play.
Right.
People used to get mad at me because I wouldn't go down the halls and try to get, you know, football players.
Right.
I told the people, I said, I'm gonna put an announcement out there that we having football practice in the back of the school.
Right.
And if you come to the back of the school, I'm assuming you want to play football.
Absolutely.
If you go around to the front to get on the bus, I'm assuming you don't want to
Play
play.
football. That's right.
So I ain't walking up and down the hall looking for you, you know, because I'm too demanding. Because what I'm gonna demand of you, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You had to want to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know. And I went to school with a ball player. I don't even know his name. His first name was Bull. We called him Bull Cole. At Tuskegee University. And every morning at 6 o'clock when he came off the hill at Tuskegee Institute, when we get ready to practice, he'd holler out, you got to want it. You know, you got to want it. If you don't want it, you know, I mean, you know, that's just like, you know, being in the band.
Right.
You know, you had to, you know, Mr. Bradfield was demanding.
Sure, that's right.
Man,
He's standing-
you better know it.
He's standing in that door. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You mess around and be late.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and stuff, you know. So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Coach, Maurice Hurd joined in and said, good coach, an even greater man. We all owe Coach Patrick for success in life. Words can't express how much love we have for him.
Right.
Well, you know, that young man right there, as I tell people, you know, I'm the only coach Maurice ever had till he went to college.
Wow.
I got Maurice. I have a picture at home of Maurice and myself. His favorite team when he was growing up, and I don't know if it still is, was the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mine too.
So I knew that. So I bought him a hat when he was 8 years old. His brother was on the. This at Zion Hill.
Right.
This at Zion Hill,
right.
yeah, this Zion Hill and stuff. And Michael was playing with the big boys, and Maurice was there every day. So I got a picture of me, and you know, and that's my man, that's my heart right there and stuff.
Maurice.
Yeah,
Maurice Hurd.
yeah.
Yeah. Big shout out to Maurice.
And like I said, it's the as a coach you want to win, but I wouldn't trade that for anything that the young men that I've had the opportunity to coach,
Right.
the men that they have come, you know, like I've had parents to come up there and tell me, say, I want you to make my son a good football player. And I would tell him, I said, you know, I'm going to make him a good man. I'm going to make him a good father, a good husband, a good son, you know. But now, in order for me to make him a good football player, he got to bring something with him.
That's right.
You know, Mrs. Frito here, he a chef, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I saw him over here the other day talk with T. Knight showing his collard green and his candy yam, you know what I'm saying? So he had, in order to do that, he had to have some ingredients
That's right.
that make the food work. That's the same way with being a football athlete, period. You know, our kid come out for the basketball team and ain't never shot a basketball, you know. You got to bring something to the table and stuff, you know. But I thank God for the athletes that I've had. And I think the city of Tuskegee and the town, the county of Macon for just giving me the opportunity
Right.
to coach their young men.
Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess this wrap this thing up.
2 hours, man. It's been 2 hours, man.
It's been
2
a good
hours.
and we could have went longer. So
Man,
we gotta do two.
episode
We gotta
2,
do
man.
two. We gotta
That's
do
right.
two.
With the
So
legendary Coach Patrick, man. We finna get ready to sign off, man. Anybody want to give a big shout out to anybody before we sign off, man?
well, I'd like to give a shout out to one of paid sponsors.
Paid sponsors.
HVAC doctors, Mr. Byron Motley. Calling for any of your AC work, construction work. Got to give a shout out to my boy Mike Hammond, to the Fade Factory over there.
Fade Factory.
The barbershop, man. He's actually in the building in the cut over there, so I'm going to get a little kudos. He might give me a free cut by giving a shout out on the podcast. But, hey, if you need to get wiped down,
that's right.
That's your guy.
We got you.
That's your guy.
All right. I want to give a big shout out, man, to 100.7 WBZ, man, the best station in the nation. We got it right here at our location, Tuskegee, Alabama. Also, we'll give a big shout out to Vibes in the building.
Oh, yeah.
Right here
at
Vibes. We'll give a big shout out to Shaky over there on the switchboard over there. DJ Shaky in the building, man. Big shouts out to you. Also, I want to give a big shout out to this panel we have up here, man. This powerful, powerful panel we have up here, man. We got none other than the legend in the building, y'all. This ain't no clone. This ain't no AI. None of that. You know what I mean? This is the real deal. See, this is the real. This is the real deal right here, y'all. We got Coach Patrick in the building, man. We're gonna do an episode 2. We don't know when, but we'll get back with you guys, man, because this was really, really great, man.
Yeah.
If you guys want to, you got anybody you got in mind that you think this, come on this podcast. Don't say nothing stupid. Hey, bring them on, man. Bring them on. We're looking for sponsorship. We're looking for all of that. This is a positive pipeline that we're running here. A positive pipeline. That's what we're trying to do. Change the mindset of how we think around our community, man. That's what we're trying to do.
And I want to give a shout out to my wife and daughter.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I text my daughter, and the type of man that I am, that's where it comes from, basically trying to show her, you know, the reason I worked so hard when I was working, you know, I wanted her to see her dad to get up every morning, not talking about the job, but going to a job, you know. And so I told her she was basically what really motivated me. And I texted her before I came up here, and I told her that I was going to use her because everything I've done in life, you know. And I looked one day, and I was out there coaching other folks' kids.
Right.
And I looked one day, and my daughter was grown.
Right.
You know, I had been so wrapped up and tied up into basically trying to help other folks' kids.
Right.
And I looked up one day, and she was grown. But I just thank God for her, you know, and thank God for her mother and the base of the impact in turning me into, you know, the Patrick household. Mom and Daddy molded me. But then basically when I got married and realized, and especially when Chiquita was born, because I realized I was not only responsible for myself, I was responsible for somebody else's life.
Absolutely. That's right.
You know,
that's right. That's
and,
right.
and everything that went along with it and stuff, you know, and so that's what that's what motivated me.
Right.
And why I was able to basically keep my reputation spotless and be the man that I am today and stuff. And a lot of that goes to because she's the wind beneath my wings.
That's right. Jill Levert. By Jill Levert. Okay. All right. Also, I didn't want to forget it, but I want to give a big shout out to my wife and kid as well. And I love you guys. Big shouts out to you guys.
Y'all ain't gonna get me in trouble. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife and beautiful princess Mia Streeter. My wife Denisha. Got to give a shout out to my mom too, Dwayne Streeter. Hey, that's my rock. I gotta keep saying that. Appreciate you, mama. Okay.
Yeah. Now, before we end this, Coach, we're gonna show you how to do this when we end the show. When I say we finna end the show, I want you to do your head back like this. All are gonna do it at the same time.
Yeah, he gonna nub you, and we gonna.
I hit you on the leg right because give you a signal. Like when I do like that, I want you to do your head back just like that. Okay? Y'all ready? Say it go. All right. See y'all niggas around, y'all.
We'll holler at y'all, man. Oh man.